Funeka Soldaat's journey from her rural roots to being the founder of Freegender in Khayelitsha has been filled with enormous personal challenges.
During the time that my mom was not in my life, a lot of things were happening to me. I mean, my coming out, things didn't went well. The issue from our communities was like homosexuality is un-African. So to deal with me was the only way that they can silence me. But when I was stabbed and all that stuff, it was just something like. But I think when I was raped, and I think that was a turning point to myself. Like, I mean, that it can't be. Funeka was raped a long time ago, but every time I talk about it, it looks as if it was yesterday. So it's a daily struggle.
There's the activist you that wants to speak about this for all the good reasons, and then there's the private you who's been through the most horrific trauma that needs healing and is small and is scared. How do those two come together?
Healing is to talk about it. People really didn't at that time know exactly what a lesbian is, and for them, raping lesbian was in a way to correct them to be in a way of being straight, and I think I was one of the people that was needed to be corrected according to them. While I was working at home, crossing the open field like this one, was I used to have to cross to go to my place. And then a group of guys just came up from nowhere. One of them said, I knew that we were going to get you one day. I was aware, really, that that's the target to myself. I started really that they'd have to take their hands off me. And then I think it's when they take a gun, when I've noticed, then that's going to be something. Yeah, and then they tripped me on the ground, and then they started raping me. My body, I think it just switched off. When they left, and I left my shoe, and I started walking. Then I walked to the police station. But that day I didn't write a statement.
Why not?
So the police, they just make fun of myself instead of taking my statement. You see, most of the stabbing, everything, I think they were really painful things, but I think the rape really a little bit shake my world, and I think it was from then when I realized that there's war that's happening there, and I really have to be in control.
And your attackers were never found?
They were never found, yeah. They were never found.
After the rape, you went home for that weekend and you stayed there, and on the Sunday you decided that you would get back out there and you would speak about it. But these guys were out there, they hadn't been apprehended.
Yeah.
Weren't you afraid for a repeat attack or for your own physical safety?
For me, that's the last thing that comes to my mind. Because I always live in fear. Even today, you don't know. You go to shop, anything can happen. I knew that. That's how people wanted to silence me, and for me, that was like, this is not what really have to control my life. I have to go And I have to go out there and enjoy myself and be myself and continue with saying that's not okay. I choose to stay in where I'm staying. Those things will continue happening here, and me hiding somewhere. I think I couldn't live my life like that. What has happened to me, it makes me to be who I am, because I believe that nobody have to go through what I've gone through.
As a friend, what goes through your heart and your mind when you think of what's happened to Funeka?
It's very painful. I mean, it just opens up old wounds. You know, I've lost people in the past who haven't been survivors. She's been stigmatized or marginalized, and she bounces back. And here she was able to bounce back from the deepest form of personal invasion and trauma. And Funeka is a survivor. And you just wonder how many times someone can go through trauma and still come out on the other side.
She took an amazing leap of faith by deciding not to be coward and to go back out there and to face the world as herself and as an activist. An extraordinary move after what she'd been through personally.
Yeah, I think Funeka embodies for me the spirit of positive living as a very spiritual person, being conscious of the world around her, but also believing in herself. I've never thought of her as being a religious person, but someone who's very deep and thinks about things and is in touch with herself and people around her. And she's, I think, a role model for a lot of people in that way. She encourages people to find the positive and to be positive.
I always believe that there's someone that's always looking after me. And if things are wrong, then I always look at my responsibility to make sure that as we people, I mean, we have to correct that. And I've become lucky also to have friends that really have that community sense.
Are you going round and round? Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, and yourself?
Are you going round and round?
Round and round.
Save our wetlands.
Yes, save our wetlands.
Funeka seems to have this passion for community.
A lot. She knows how to engage. She knows the issues. Because before, we know nothing. Even I know nothing about politics, activists. But since I start chatting with Funeka, I know a lot.
But she brought out the activist in you.
Yes.
You are the one who stands for her in the community.
Yes.
Are you making headway? Are people more accepting?
If you can change the mindset of the old to this new generation, then it works. The communication now between the communities and the Funeka, it's #1, sis. They accept Funeka, but I need the police, I need the community, because they are the one who can make Funeka safe wherever he goes. So that's why I'm saying the education is the best, to educate the people about the lesbians. That's why I said it will take time to change other people's mindset.
Being a lesbian, people, they tend to put you in a box, because I regard myself as a human being. If there is there's a problem with the water in my community here in my area, I have to call the community members that, guys, this is an issue that we don't have water. And if it means I have to lead that campaign, I have to do that. I mean, that's my belief. So I become like really involved in a lot of things that represent Funeka. Funeka is a lesbian and Funeka is a woman at the end of the day.
That's why I have the courage to support the Funeka and other stuff.
So meeting her, crossing paths with her in your life, transformed your life?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
My lesbian activism and what I'm doing in my community, it's one thing to my community. It's not a separate thing. And even if I organize something that have something to do with lesbian, I involve my community. They go. It's not that we can't be part of it. It's a safe first place for me. I mean, to be. I forget really sometimes that Funeka is a homosexual.